Bobby's more attack focused. Yeah, we'll see Bobby. So Bobby, yeah, there's not drama, but like Bobby was kind of like brought in, not instantly brought in, but he was there. It's kind of like, I never played X attack, so it's harder for me to be able to teach kids not difficult, like team practices. It's designed for individual play and individual development. But I think he just, he was like, hey, help us get kind of work with the attack. Got to get on the training. So I don't know if Bobby's going to be running. Yeah, I'm Bobby. I don't need him. Bobby, you gave you 3 kids to put on these plays. I told the kids, listen, guys, this is not everybody's here. It's not right now. Sorry. You guys were happy about that. Yeah, I mean, I try to get everybody in, but you know, Bobby tried to put 3 kids in because I didn't get as much time for those that I have. Like, sorry, nothing against you guys. And actually, I think I asked him to run one shift because I was really tired. And Jake's one of those kids that I trust already. I think he may not be Jake's spot, but Jake's going to do all the other deals. Now he did fine. Like I said, I thought he did great. Jackson. Oh, no. Oh, that makes sense. Yep.
All right, hello.
Sorry about that. I realized I had brought the wrong coffee upstairs. I was like, oh God, this is the one from yesterday. Actually, it was Melissa's, which I can't drink Melissa's coffee, but I was like, wow. Whew. It's like emergency there. All right. So 26. Voice is a little better today. Yesterday I was hurting a little bit afterwards, but uh-oh. Wait, what? Oh, okay. Not a big deal. So my it was a different coach. Anyway, some decent movement. Some continuations of what we've seen yesterday. Actually, in the last 30 minutes, we are seeing a bit of retrace come back again. We have data coming in 20 minutes for Canada, and you can see dollar CAD still down 96. So again, continue to accelerate. Again, the dollar weakness is really kind of cranking in at this point. And again, I think some of it is it's a combination of a few things: interventions, interest rate changes coming in, and then a couple other kind of big things like this global slowdown. More restrictions in China, which we know hurts us as well. So again, right now, euro dollar, nice little move up 88. Pound dollar, 136. Again, pound continuing to get more strength, which I 100% expected. No question whatsoever. Again, the new prime minister is in. I love it, just how rich is he. I believe he's actually the richest man in the UK. Does it say it in here? Parson Liz spent 7 days. He's first person of color, first Asian, married to an Indian citizen, youngest prime minister in British history. There's his wealth net worth. This, which is according to one of the estimates, which is more than King Charles. Yeah, I believe he's like one of the richest people, or like he's like the richest politician that's been there. Obviously, there's been richer people that lived in the UK, but I think he's like the richest politician ever in the UK. But again, people are very, very positive on him, and I think he's great. It's funny, and, he is definitely on the younger side at 42. You can see the youngest prime minister in modern, history. I don't think this is a bad thing. I feel like, again, this is kind of like, if you guys remember when Obama came in first, it was like, wow, this is a young guy. It's not like a 72-year-old guy that's like lost touch with reality. Right, the younger guys tended, I don't know, just do better overall. I think they're more relatable. So I think it's again, the UK is we talked about something to get them on the road to positive, and again, this seems like it's working pretty well for them. But Aussie dollar up pretty big. Right, dollar yen still down, and again, this is still the effects of the intervention. Remember, the intervention was basically a massive sell on dollars and a buy on the yen. So some of the dollar weakness that is out there right now is because of that massive amount of selling coming in. Huge selling pressure out there, flooding the market, increasing supply. Obviously brings it back in the opposite of what the dollar strength has seen lately. So, and again, a lot of that is just retracing, and it's not, I wouldn't say it's, we are, I would say, I guess I'll say it. I believe that this is kind of like, I want to say historic highs, or it's high on the historic curve, right? We're up in that like 110 range. It used to be like if anything got to like 98, there was like interventions coming in because it's like, oh God, it's too strong, right? So it's up there. News-wise, I think this one, says the currency. Mr. Yen says the currency could plunge farther in 170, right? We can even further 170 levels, which, oh no, I feel like this is that train wreck, story, right? The things are awesome. Don't touch the yen now. I'm removing it from my watch list too. I love those things. But yes, it is very, very high. And again, I don't think it's so much a yen story. It's more of like a dollar story at this point. And I will say, if you guys on Discord, you heard the messages earlier. You saw the stories. I had the most enjoyable 15 minutes on the way home. Okay. CNBC, it's definitely awesome for entertainment. Whatever her name is, Julie Quick, whatever. Is it Julie? Jamie? Julie Quick? Who is it? I don't know. I just typed her name over there. Where is it? Becky Quick. Gotta say, huge fan of hers. I was dying. I was literally rolling in the car. Her and the guy that we're talking this morning. I don't know who the senator was. He was I think he was a Cali, like wherever the Valley District is in California. It's that guy talking about how it's really not fair that people in my district have to pay $6 a gallon and the rest of the it's like, wow, really. It's not fair, huh? And they're talking about how there's a vote for this Proposition 30 in California, which will actually, for wealthier people, put their tax rate at over 50%.
you know? And then this guy's like, yeah, we should tax all rich people and tax companies. And they're talking about how all the jobs went overseas. I mean, this guy was like, they were literally like planting landmine after landmine. And this dude stepped on every single one of them. It was hysterical. Right. He, as a Democrat, he admitted that, Trump, some of the strategic, tariffs that he did. I'm in support of that. I think that's a great job. It needs to be done because China's getting ahead. We've lost 5 million jobs. Our industry is continuing to go down. And then Becky's like, yeah, but you want to raise corporate taxes. He's like, well, yeah, companies make too much money. And she's like, yeah. So if you tax them more, they're going to come back here. Okay. You can tell that she was just so annoyed, but it was hysterical because this guy just kept falling for it. So yeah, gotta love that kind of stuff. I mean, that was kind of like the highlight of the morning. It's just everything. It was great. If you guys could find the replay of it, it's absolutely worth listening to hear what they're like. Like, everything good was a bipartisan bill, but everything bad was a Democrat bill. And I was like, does this guy have any idea that they are just like blasting this guy? They're like, well, they're like, oh, it's not fair that they have windfall profits. They're like, well, and they go, well, what about the pharmaceutical companies? Well, we want, they strive for innovation. He's like, but Pfizer benefited directly from COVID. Yeah. And they were like, well, what about when it's negative for oil companies? Are you going to, give them taxes back again because you overtaxed them when they did well? And they're like, well, it doesn't. And the guy's like, it was just landmine after landmine. If you can watch it, listen to it. Absolutely hysterical. So wishy-washy on everything. I was like, wow, this is why you're not going to do well in the election. So yeah, so that was actually for me, that was the hottest news. You can see here, nothing. There's really nothing over here. And again, China, look at this. Chinese banks sold US dollars to support the yuan late Thursday. So again, everybody is selling dollars, right? Everybody is selling dollars to try to lower the price right now because it is hurting so many people. By the way, the senator too was like, we should stop selling arms to Saudi Arabia. And they're like, well, what about the backlash? It doesn't matter. It's like, yeah. So pretty funny stuff. Anyway, 20 minutes from now, we're going to get the CAD data. We'll see. Again, it's pretty much already baked in at this point. Wouldn't be surprised if it, dollar CAD starts going up from it. Tomorrow morning, we've got a lot of news coming in early. Not super early, but like 8:15. Obviously, again, 75 basis points factored in for the euro. Again, why we're seeing the euro move. Again, you're always seeing that beforehand. Then we have all the dollar data, right? Now, this is why I think it's pretty interesting. You're seeing like something like the euro here going up 74 pips today before they're doing an interest rate rise, which is what you expect, right? They factor it in. It comes in exactly as expected, and then it goes down. And everyone's like, what the heck's going on? It's like, because you bought it. That's why, right? That's followed closely 15 minutes later with all this data. And all the data is expected to be good. The advanced GDP on a quarterly basis, an adjustment last time, so 5.3, you're like, oh, it's not as much, but it's still growing, right? Unemployment claims holding steady. Durable goods orders up. Core durable still positive. Advanced GDP quarter on a quarterly basis was negative last time, which is being changed to not as negative. And then 2.3%. These are every reason the Fed is looking at like, listen, it's not hurting the economy. Because remember, the stock market is not the economy, right? GDP is the economy. This is every reason why we have dollar strength rolling back in. So we have one data point that basically says, hey, listen, factor it all in now, set up for a short, and then vice versa. Because again, 2% is not a big reason, big deal to kind of start throwing money there. And then all the U.S. data, this could be a nice little red day for the euro dollar, ending the dollar strong for the week. Unless, again, obviously China starts selling things. That's messes it up as well. And then we have outlooks, BOJ report, and monetary policy statement from the BOJ. Obviously, those times always come in a tentative, but I think those are, again, could there be big statements made tomorrow about what further interventions look like and kind of where they see their target rate being? I would say, yeah. I mean, I think it'd be pretty interesting. But right now, the story is really just kind of solely focused on the dollar. And yesterday morning, we were sitting right here at 111. I said, hey, listen, could we, 110 is probably the target. And you can see we bounced, we tagged. 110 is the black line. You can see we bounced off of it. And now I've kind of found up a little bit of a bottom. Now, question is this truly the bottom? Is this where we're going to start doing that next little rally up again? I would say it has a very high potential of yes. The reason why is because, again, 110, 100 flat, 120, those are all very large psychological numbers. More so than a 112, 113, 115. 115 is decent, but 110 is always going to be higher, right? Where we are now, looks like as much selling as we've had of the dollar lately it seems like we're coming to kind of the end of how much dollar selling that they're doing. With that said, the data tomorrow is the first real dollar release that could really kind of set us off, right? Because again, GDP is advancing on a quarterly basis 2.3% when everybody's like, oh God, manufacturing, everything is down. That's a good sign that the economy is not slowing yet, right? Yet. I mean, it will come, right? I think this gives us a very interesting trade setup for tomorrow morning, early, before we get back on. So, and again, everything is kind of lining up, showing us, right? Massive weakness, massive weakness, massive weakness, massive weakness, massive weakness on all these things, setting up for a 2% growth when supposedly we're in a recession. That's good. That's good. So you got to like that. And then we'll see what else comes in. On the smaller front, I mean, I don't even think there's anything. Is there? I thought there was something else. Hold on. The PPI, that was the other thing I was looking for. So the Aussie PPI, it's yellow because, again, nighttime news releases tend not to have the same kind of oomph power. But that's a good one. Also, Tokyo Core CPI year over year, seeing it kind of go up. It's obviously not the massive 10%, but you're seeing it increase as well. That's actually good for the yen too. Right, that's actually good for the yen. But this PPI number, obviously, one of the gauges of inflation we use in the United States, decent release here. It will be an 8:30 release tonight. And then tomorrow morning, I don't think there was anything. The flash GDP, no. The German preliminary CPI. Okay, also kind of a good thing for the euro. To get a gauge of the euro. Not necessarily market moving itself, but knowing what this is kind of trending towards also helps in what the euro is looking at. Remember, Germany and France, but Germany is kind of the main economy that you look at inside of the EU to determine what the euro is going to do next. So definitely some cool data in the next 24 hours, and we'll see how that rolls out. All right, so looking across, we already talked about the dollar. We're bouncing off this 110, and again, it's an area where we obviously you can tell that there are buyers here. We'll see if we really can smash through them today, but we should be able to push higher. The VIX also continuing to deteriorate back down again. And a lot of this is lack of any real news out there. Again, with the dollar weakening, you can see right now we're kind of split. ESNQ down, YM Russell up. And you're like, wait a second, why is it going down? I mean, really, we don't have anything out there yet, right? I mean, the indices are split. Massive movement yesterday because we don't have much. We know that, again, some of the comments made and things, it's, there could be, potentially some recession-y type things out there. I personally don't think it's going to slow the Fed down, but the markets feel like they are, right? So, going across commodities, oil up again. Natural gas down a little bit. We're down at that 550 mark, right? And then you see gold and silver both up pretty decently, right? Again, I think in preparation for tomorrow. So let's start out with the Aussie. So yesterday we talked about a little Aussie trade in here, and we talked about a reversal. And you can see it came up, it tagged it. It got to about halfway through, maybe a little bit, pretty close to a 1 to 2. This would have been one of those stop out at break even type trades. Again, there were buyers where it turned. I am actually a little surprised that it was able to hold that. Not surprised that it took 2 bounces, but look, at 1, 2, and 3, it bounced quite a bit through there. And late last night is when it finally came up and broke. And again, here's your 1 touch, here's your 2 touches, here's your 3 touches. Once this touch came in here, I don't know if you guys can see it or not, the spike that's right here. Once that spike came in with 3 touches, that's it. You need to make sure that you are either closing this down or get yourself out of the break-even trade. And it did what it's supposed to do. It came through it based, and then it broke higher. Now, it didn't pull back, unfortunately. But, again, it happens. I thought we would get a lot more. I mean, really, these sellers stepped in twice, and it's just the little tiny group of buyers here just held it. So right now, again, that trade's probably off at break-even. Right now, we are above the 78.6 on the top side, so we're going to remove that, and we're going to take it and run it in the other direction. I'm going to do it from here, not there. Let's run it there now. Yeah, right now, nothing's really setting up. And actually, we'd adjust this for a new Harry Potter down. We put this short right there. I still think we're good on those 2 profit targets. What do we got at 65? Oh, we do have a level here. There is a little bit of zone here, but I don't like it that much. 1, 2. I'm gonna extend both these across. right there. All right. Problem with this one is we kind of got this overnight level right here, and we did have a failure to go higher, and we've gotten the red, the green, and the red close below. So kind of rolls into what we talked about yesterday. If that U.S. session dollar strength comes in, which again, it's trying to fight. It's trying to fight. That's going to roll us back down. If you guys are short this one, and you guys are taking this one, some of you may have already gotten into it on this touch. Make sure you get your profit out right here. At 64.03, you could do 64. That's where the last kind of pullback was, the impulse correction and then kind of explosion off of it. So make sure you get your profit there. Again, this is kind of I would say this is kind of a session roll type trade here. Fair to go higher. And again, at 9:30 popped up, grab it. I'd say this one looks more like it's going to be a trade here. Right. We'll see what the rest of them look like, but that's kind of where I would say that this one's moving. Now, 2 levels up top. I do think both these are probably decent levels. I do like the red one a little bit better. The yellow one at 65.36 or 37, it's hit it a few times. It's okay. I mean, it's not my favorite of levels. It's all right, but whoops. Must be back. But the 65.74, I do like that one a lot better. Not as tested, so we'll see what it does. But at this point, you can see it's having a hard time with that level. So, some of you may be short that already. Aussie yen. So, Aussie, kind of the same thing. Yesterday, we were kind of flirting around with this 50% level, and we hit it and pushed down and hit it and pushed down, hit it and pushed down, hit it and pushed down again. Came all the way up, hit it, pushed down again. It's like, man, how many times is it going to hit this level? And then it did kind of come through and give us the Harry Potter when it finally broke to the other side. Gave us a nice little runner up, about 60 pips higher, and it did. It came up. Here, I'll put a horizontal line on there. You can see there's the last time sellers came in. Same exact sellers came in and saved it again. So that would have been kind of a profit target. I probably will put it a little bit less, maybe around the 78. But it did what it was supposed to do. So right now, I would say let's adjust this one forward. We did get a nice little base in here. This was the kind of unintended consequence of that one coming back down as we got a base and we got a little bit of a run. So kind of coincides with that as well. Touch the 78, so I don't care about the 78 anymore. Let's run it up and see where some sellers are. Really, it's got to be down here, but yeah, that's a big question. Can we get through this level right here? Whoops. We can leave it green. It's whatever. Because you will have people take it from here up, even though really you should run it from here. It should be run from here. I bounce off of. Which is it? 9.55. There will probably be buyers stepping in there. Yeah, just this is an easy little pop. And again, they're going to take this as being the most, they're going to look at the screens like, oh, well, here's the bottom, there's the top. Even though you really should run it here because obviously there was a trend change in there. But there is a zone. It is a decently formed candle. It's a smaller position. I'd really like get short Aussie though. 1 to 3 is only right there. It's not even that big of a trade. I would say the only hope in this one is if we do not breach, if we can hold green and kind of stabilize and go back up again. What is it, 8:30 tonight? I don't know, it's tomorrow. I don't know, people, yeah, it was there. It was all good. It should be retracing right now too. We get a little confirmation bounce off of that's not bad. I mean, it's 10 pips for 30, so it's not a very, very big trade. I still like this one lower. And again, we're starting to get a little bit, middle of the week. Yeah, it's kind of where we're at. Like I said, I think again this would be a 1030 bounce off that level. 130. Yeah, that's 530 is right there. So yeah. God, the problem with this one is at the yen, and at the yen is just so unpredictable right now. Is the problem? I want to say down, but again, this is a decent technical level. I like the little pullback, a one candle bottom base. I like the pop off of it. I love the fact that it's a 23.6. I like that it's 10 pips worth of risk. All those things are pretty decent, you know. Um, I do like all those things. um, What? One sec. Sorry. Here we go. Yeah, so take it for what it's worth. You may like that one, may not like it. Again, it is high, it is turning. It should actually be a profit target first when it hits that level. This is a predictable level, and it was a long. It was a nice little long trade up. So, yeah, again, depending on your strategy, if you like these or not. Again, if we get a confirmation bounce off this one, take that one a little bit higher. Actually, 103 is right. I moved it a little bit, 103.05. So, again, it's not even bursting through the high tonight. Aussie, or Euro. Sorry, Euro dollar. So Euro dollar, we kind of got tricked on this one. I don't know if you guys can see it. It came up and it missed it just by a little bit of 10. It came back up again, same exact path, missed it by a couple pips, and then kind of stopped and stabilized. And then it slowly started to grind its way up through. Europeans have sent this through now. Two levels to watch here. One would obviously be a little Harry Potter trade. The basing level right in here I think is pretty decent. We're going to mark it right there. That's plenty of we talked about this yesterday. It's a parabolic base move, right? So like that one, I would say right now, this is a decent short position. If you know how to set an alert for yourself, set an alert when it breaks through. 1 to 3 is only right there. Actually, right there. It's got plenty of room to run. It's definitely before the pop even occurred, so I do like that one on the downside. 15 pips worth of risk, 45 in the other direction. As far as where we are right now, it looks very, very similar to the Aussie dollar. There was this overnight position. It kind of based right there. It pulled back down again, and the opening candle went up and grabbed it. It did put a confirmed failure to go higher in, which kind of leads us back down to a short. It does have the room to run back to this level, but the problem is parity is sitting right here, and parity is such a big deal. I like the Aussie dollar short better than the Euro dollar short because, like I said, I think parity is going to be the problem right here when it goes up. And again, it is a trigger for so many people being right at 1. But when it does finally come through and break, again, I think you look at this one right here and take this one short. And this is a dollar strength based move, a break of 99.38. All right. Euro pound. So no entry on the Harry Potter there. And here, there could have been a case made for it. It did drop, it did base, it did pull back, and now it's just kind of chopping back and forth. So the question on this one is like, are we taking this one, right? You could be in this one. I would absolutely, again, keep a very close watch on there. Typically, when you see this pullback, again, 530 was a great reversal time. The chop down, the chop up, the chop down, the chop back up, the chop down isn't really typically what we'd like to see. It is typically indicative that we will continue, but right now it is more kind of consolidating than anything else. You can see that we could draw a top here, and at the same time, we could draw a bottom here. And it is kind of consolidating in. We are looking for an overall target down at 86.31, but the reality is we have now entered the trade. I don't think we ever made it up. Did we make it to a 1-to-1? 1-to-1 is right there. So yeah, it got close to a 1-to-1. 1-to-2 is right there. Yeah, so you could be in this trade. Again, obviously keep the risk low on this one. Yeah, made it to 1-to-6, but again, that would have been off our entry. So yeah, you could be in this trade right now, right? And again, if you are, it's not a whole thing. It's that. It's where you're at right now. Okay. Pull this across. 1-2-8. I don't know how to move that, but whatever. There we go. All right. So, I think this is okay. Again, we're kind of going back and forth, but I think everybody's pretty happy with the pound right now. So I think it kind of makes sense. Euro. You can see Euro is collapsing. So we had a level up top. We were looking for 148 before it turned and rolled. Unfortunately, didn't quite make it. Yesterday morning, we were sitting right here, kind of at the same peak, and it kind of just fought. Here at 6 p.m., we're in the overnight, and it kind of put a top in. Actually, you could have traded that, I guess, if you wanted to. Your 6 p.m. trade right there. How much risk was that? It's actually not a bad little top. 17. You could be short this one in the overnight, although quite a painful one to watch. Again, I do like this one on the downside. We were calling for that short. Unfortunately, it didn't climb all the way up. It kind of put a new level in. I mean, I guess we can mark that off for. I don't even want to mark this one off for next time. Here's why. Look at this. Boom, out, in. I mean, we have so much grinding through, and then it pushed it literally to the brink. I mean, at this point, there's about that much people left. Is that worth putting on there? No. So, let's see. And yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense. It will come back down again. 23.6 is where people are going to be looking to get long this one. There are some buyers in that level here. Tested. Boom. Test. So yeah, makes sense that it comes just a little bit lower, but unfortunately, it's too late to enter this trade right now. And again, this is another one of those yen strength-based trades, which I don't think is horrible. Okay? It's a shame. I really like the 148.14. It sucks that it didn't get up there first before rolling. It sucks it ran out of steam. 6 p.m. yesterday, we ran out. So close, but yet so far. Pound dollar. All right, so yesterday, we were talking about this one potentially having a top in, and it did roll back a little bit, but then took off. So right now, I still like this area here. I think this is a decent area to go through. Unfortunately, we didn't really get the entry. It's not even really a great red green. We really didn't get much in there. Let's see. I'm going to set this there. That's probably fine for next time. As you can see, we popped the levels and then used those levels, and then unfortunately, it wasn't enough room to really take a Harry Potter trade out of it because as we popped it, we tagged the 16, came back down, grabbed the 1550, came back up and grabbed the 16 and went back down again, and we're still stuck in that same kind of 16 range. So we're going to pull all these off just to kind of keep the charts clean. We did know that the 1600 and the 1700 were both going to be levels where sellers are going to step in. I've mentioned that before. Question is now, are we in an area where we turn and roll? It is trying. It looks very, very similar to the other, dollar secondary pairs. We did have a test. It looks the same too. It popped at that 9:30 time frame and is trying to turn and roll. So, I mean, it's there, but it's at the same time, it's like, which one of them is best? Why? And again, pros and cons of all. I like the pound dollar or this pound dollar one because I think the 160 is such an important level. So. It is in a new level at a big number. It is confirmed. And again, we are at that 10:30 time frame right now. The news should be in. Oh. Well, that's actually, I guess they adjusted it. It was less last time, but more this time. So yeah, it stays on track for what it is. But that's interesting. They only did a 0.5. Huh. Quantitative tightening, inflation, another one. Yeah. Huh. Further hikes will be influenced by assessments on how tight it. We'll get more headlines out of this one too. That's interesting. We're almost at the dollar CAD right now, but you can see that this was massively kind of negative, and that was such a disappointment. And actually, we talked about this before, being CAD weak when the data came out. This is even more weak. Right. So, yeah, we talked about CAD week beforehand. Didn't think they would miss, but it went in the same direction anyway. So, yeah. So, again, there's a position there. We'll see how that rolls out. Pound yen. We did come up, and again, same thing. 1 hit, 2 hit, 3 hit. It's like, listen, you're already 1-to-1. Get the heck out of the trade at this point. 4 hits, and then it popped up, and now it's starting to kind of roll. A lot of opportunities. Again, we knew that this level up here between 170 and 165 was going to be a big thing. Yesterday, we just didn't get the pressure. And again, it did roll off of it and came down to a 1 to 1.9, right? So, again, this is one of those scenarios you should have got stopped out of break even, right? Again, if you stayed into it, you got another opportunity here. If you stayed in it, again, still not stopped out, you came all the way back down again. It's like, listen, you've had three pushes. It's not going to hold. If it goes up, it's going to break. Move your stop loss back a few pips on this one. And again, it came up again and actually got negative again. So you had 4 opportunities to get yourself out of this one with absolutely 0 loss. And sometimes that happens. It's just too big of a zone. The 170, again, $160 pound dollar. Psychological level. What do you want? You know, it's going to be one of those hard trades. So pull it. We can. Actually, I'm going to roll it down for when we do start the cycle. Unfortunately, I don't think this is one we're going to get into. You can see, look, 23 didn't even hold. So the problem with this Harry Potter trade is you have the 50 and the 61 sitting right there. I mean, again, they may give it areas to come down, base, and bounce off of. Sure. But you will have people stepping up, especially here. I think that's going to be a very, very big hotspot on this pound yen. So, in all honesty, I do think that yen strength comes into the market and continues to come into the market. But at the same time, I really think the UK, having the new PM, everybody seems to like them. They're feeling positive about it. I feel like right now is not the time fundamentally to short the pound. I mean, unless he pulls a truce, but I don't know. I feel like at this point, he's not going to make the same mistake. He's a rich guy. He's a rich business guy. I think he kind of knows better. So, yeah, look for a rollback, but I don't necessarily love the way that this one is setting up on the pound yen. Dollar CAD, there's their spike, and wow, look at that. It's almost like they knew at 7:30 this morning. You can run this all the way down. Let's see. You can see 23 did nothing. This is that old Harry Potter level right in there. Yeah. So funny. It's kind of like, hey, the market kind of knew already, right? And I mentioned this yesterday. So just to further explain it again for some of the people that weren't here yesterday, the way that this one works is, and again, it's the same thing that's going on here, right? I'm not saying that they're doing a 0.5, but it's kind of the same idea. The market had baked in a 4. If it came in at a 4, the market had already baked it in. So everybody that was waiting for that 4 confirmation, right? They're getting in after the move has already happened, because we saw, again, earlier today, this is way down, right? This was way down from where it was yesterday, right? This was red, right? We talked about dollar weakness, dollar weakness, dollar weakness, and now you're like, oh, it's dollar strength. Well, yeah, kind of, right? So this is how news works. And again, people that don't understand trade news, the market factors it in. If it comes in as exactly as expected, typically that doesn't, it helps it do what isn't supposed to happen. What I mean by that is, they raise the interest rate. That should bring CAD strength in. No, the market has already factored the CAD strength in. If it comes in, everybody that sees it after the fact, i.e. retail traders, they're getting in, getting everybody else out with profit, and then that's why people lose money. In this case, and this is kind of like there's 3 options, right? If it comes in expected for a release like this, if it comes in as expected, that's a bearish sign. Why? Because the market's already factored in that price. If it comes in below, obviously, that's a bearish sign. Everybody's got that one. If it comes in above, obviously that's a bullish sign because the market hadn't factored it in yet. So when you're looking at how to trade the news, you have 1 that's positive and 2 that are bearish. So most times you want to go with the one that happens to be, the higher chance. You go with the 66% instead of the 33. Okay? So again, worked out. We didn't know they were going to miss, but nice little rally off that bottom. 140 pips. And interestingly enough, the 930 candle sent it down to wipe all those people out, and then took off to the top side. So, yeah, I would say this is probably going to reverse back down again. Yeah, it changes some, but not, at the end of the day, not much. There is obviously selling right here, and that's kind of what it ran into. So, had you got short down below, again, this one kind of sucks because it did go lower at 730 than that one. But again, you can see, it did, the 930 candle shot straight down for a 10 o'clock release. So, it kind of gave you all the signs you needed to see. Look. 930 down to 945, and then it started to build back up again, this 950 mark. So, and look, you can see it's topping right there. So, yeah, unfortunately, the CAD trade is out. If anything, look for it to turn and reverse back down again. What's gold or what's oil doing? Yeah, oil stop. Yeah, I mean, again, we'll see if oil continues to stay green or hold or start to increase a little bit. That should help bring this back down as well. Okay, dollar Swiss. There's what we talked about yesterday, and we talked about this one going lower. We don't quite have the Harry Potter trade yet. We talked about getting some basing in here, and again, this was a level we were not interested in taking a long off of because, again, 1, 2, 3, this was hit 4. You can see hit 4 didn't even slow it down. It came up, it grabbed it, and it is continuing to push lower. Now, this one does kind of have an overnight bottom in right around that 5:30 time frame. I'd say right now, I mean, look for this one. Let's see. I don't need this anymore. Let's pull this one and see where we could have some potential people jumping in to help. Yeah, it's right there. Magically, it literally sliced again, that is a 23.6 base trade. There's your low. There's your 23.6. There's your old violated zone. So it is kind of a short base trade. I'm actually surprised that it didn't move faster on that one. Let's see. I don't think we're out yet. 1 to 3 is right there. So not out yet. Close. But we'll see. Unless we have a major reversal in the next 15 minutes, this one probably grinds down and tags that 1 to 3. Okay, but again, too late for the trade now. This would have been one of those ones that, and actually, this is a pure European session move. If you would have done this last night, you were still basing around, again, where we talked about there being problems. And it did. It spent a lot of time. I mean, if I look, you can see how much time. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then all this base. So, yeah, this is a purely European move. European market opened here, actually here, right? Straight down, 530 reversal, 830 reverse back to the downside. So purely European session-based trade. If you were up for that one, I was not. You guys know my opinion on how great it is to trade the European session, but how difficult it is to trade as an East Coaster. If I ever moved to Vancouver, which my wife wants really, really bad, yeah. It's close. All right, here we go. Still eating away. Let's pull some of these targets out. Don't need that. So right now we're sitting here, right? Right now I like this bearish. I'm thinking sunny Spain. Only thing about Spain, I think I would do Portugal before I do Spain, right? But again, I don't know. Europeans are, I don't know. I don't know if I could get. I feel like I could not get used to the European system. You know, Canada is still close enough to what we have here. I don't know. And again, I'm Italian by birth, so could do the Italy thing, but I feel like I don't know. Everything I've read about Portugal, I feel like Portugal would be the way to go, right? I don't know. Portugal's nice. It's weird. I can talk about living in the northern hemisphere, but when people are like, "Oh no, you should go to the southern hemisphere. It's great." I'm like, I don't know. I just feel like to me the southern hemisphere feels like it's yeah, Italy wouldn't be bad, but I feel like Portugal. I mean, being on the coast, I need, I don't know. Very hard. I don't know. Maybe I'll just get houses everywhere, Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'd say bearish on this one. I mean, I think this one really, there's so much effort globally to sell dollar to help their own currencies because the Fed is just getting things worse. That was another CNBC thing this morning that you gotta be on Miss Quick's side. They were like, well, that Trump, that everything they've done is raise inflation, and she's like, you don't think COVID's raised inflation? She's like, you don't think supply chain, none of those things aided in inflation? And then they said something else, and they're like, no, the reason the dollar is so strong is because the Fed keeps raising interest rates. and the guy's like, well, I mean that too, yeah, I mean that too. There's some senators out there. I have no idea how people vote for them. I just kind of like, I don't know. There are some really dumb senators. Like, man, I know it sounds disrespectful, but wow. Like, I get it. You're on, they're asking you a lot of questions, but man. Yeah, so stay bearish. I don't have a setup on this one right now. With this spike here, there's not much we can do about it. I think it comes back down. Probably takes 145 though. Bitcoin, again, with all the weakness, yeah, it's going to continue to rise right now. Again, we're approaching 21,000 for Bitcoin. So again, that works out great for Bitcoin. Ethereum also looks very, very similar. Well past the 13. We're up at 15 right now. So again, having a great, Ethereum is up 7.4%. This is like way outside of the range, but again, good for Ethereum, moving. Doji at 6.7. So again, we were talking about 6 being below, and again, nice rally up, and again, I think once the dollar strength comes back in again, right now everybody's like, well, and again, if you're looking at crypto and you don't want to trade crypto is a great way to use as a proxy for something like gold. You're seeing gold and silver up. I mean, those are the commodities that people are looking at. As a secondary function or third or tertiary function or something like that, you could look down at the cryptos and be like, what are they doing? I mean, come on. Anything that moves 7.32%, is that a normal, healthy move? And the answer is no. No, it's not a move. You typically, those are the moves that you see the retracements on the most. So they're all kind of set up that way. And TLT, right? We talked about TLT being able to play something. Again, TLT did pop. You can see that it really put up a good fight yesterday. It held. We were talking about setting up something from the 95 to 90 down. And we had a bit of a gap higher, but again, it was only one day. Options, again, we're not using daily options. We got some time on this one still. Right, as we got this pop a high, but again, the dollar having another weak day. Is the dollar done? That's the big question. And again, we know what's going to happen. They are raising interest rates. At no point have they said we're done raising interest rates. This is setting us up for a substantial drop to the downside. So I mean, this spread right now, probably even cheaper today. Right, and again, that's the nice thing about options is you don't really have that stop loss with them. You're able to get them in cheap enough, and actually being out of the money a little bit, not really the worst thing ever either, right? So yeah, nice. I mean, again, it should be popping. The dollar's down, right? Dollar down, it's popping. So if the dollar holds here, that could be a nice selling opportunity as well in TLT. So dollar may be hurting, but hey, remember yesterday we talked about this 10:30? Like we're not really super interested. It did actually roll off of it, which is great, and it pulled back again. But you see, had you gotten short that position, we're higher up there right now. But we are in an area now where we're like, hey, this is kind of a decent area. Yeah, doing some selling now. So, it didn't hold. It did get a pullback. You actually could have gotten a trade off of that one yesterday, but understand it is riskier every time you get in. And with 1, 2, 3, and this being hit number 4, again, the odds are that it was going to go higher, and it did give us a little bit of a pullback down, right? At least till the European market opened, right? European market opened. There's your 3 o'clock candle right there. There's your European market. So right now, I would say it's kind of more set up in a range. I mean, we're kind of up in an area right now where it's looking a little bit better. Now, again, the comments back and forth about what should happen and why these people are bad and all that kind of drama is not helping this morning. But some of the comments for the global slowdown have been pretty decent. This one right here, the World Bank talking about, a sharp slowdown in global growth and COVID restrictions in China are the key downside risks to oil consumption. Again, directly going after oil, you can say, well, wait a second, there's risk. What's going on here? And again, you're seeing this rally. It's because so many people are looking at this headline and be like, oh, that's it, short oil. And again, there will be an oil short, but everybody that's getting in based off that news, and funny enough, if you look at kind of where the top of this was, just using this one, right? There's your Harry Potter, right? It pushed in, it based, it broke it, finally came back and used it. I'd say there is probably an oil short here in the next 2 days, or probably in the next day. We may even get it today, right? I think. Kip is not happy. What was the API number? API oil inventory. Oh, Kip is unhappy. Okay, yeah. So, whoops. Nope. Definitely not going to sign in and give you guys access. There's our API number. All right. So we're seeing a surprise increase in oil, 4.5 million barrels inventory wise. Surprise. Way too much oil, and oil is rising. So again, I think right now it's more of a hey, everybody short. So I think there's probably a decent trade here. And again, 10-15. Let's see. We have the oil coming out in a little bit. It's kind of stabilizing. Problem is it's in this level already. Man, there's a lot of buyers there. Are a bunch of buyers right now. But right now, that's kind of what we're looking at for crude oil. All right, let's go back up to 30. Let's get natural gas. All right, so what do we have here? It's an old level. We wouldn't use that again. It is funny that it stopped there. Yeah. Just missed that one. Hmm. I don't like that wick. Yeah, I still think a short below 511. Millie just sit. Yeah, I think below 511. I am. It is curious that that fifth the 23 did not hold. I thought that 23 would hold a little bit better yesterday. And again, the 1030, I was really hoping we get another spike down, but ended up rallying off that. So a minute grab where it should have. Millie, sit down. It's funny when a Great Dane wants to sit and she starts like scratching at the carpet and like knocks in the furniture. It like almost knocks furniture over. Yeah, I mean the only trade I have with this one, guys, is a break of 511. I don't, again, that zone kind of got front run a little bit. We knew it was sitting up there. It's not at a percentage that you're like, yep, that's it, go short right there. It is coming down. There is obviously basing occurring right here. And again, ignore the 23.6. That it based on the 23.6 and popped through. So anybody that would have tried to trade that one got stopped out on it immediately. I think with the basing here, I'll chop, and then kind of pushed it low. I think that's really the only trade setup we have for natural gas right now. Being that it's, again, everything is kind of big up except natural gas today. If we turn and roll and all the commodities kind of crash tomorrow again, yeah, 1 to 3 is right where you should be taking profit. I think that's the best natural gas trade. And again, it's not. I know, people are always looking for like, what do I trade right now? You can't trade it right now. But if it comes down and breaks 511, then it looks like we go short. Gold. Gold up. Again, yesterday we talked about this. It did pull down. It only went about halfway. We were looking for a bit more of a retrace on that one. Looks like late last night it kind of turned it around, and then European session open right here and kind of pushed it higher. You can see actually this one had here, we're going to move this so you can see it. This one actually had an adjustment. Now, as this was increasing higher, it did put a new level in, and again, it was a level that we're looking for. Let's see, 730 would have done it. So where we are with gold up being 1% right now, I would say gold is also kind of in the same scenario with what we saw with the euro dollar, pound dollar, Aussie dollar. It did put a new top in. It did confirm that top at a viable time, that 7:30 in the morning. It didn't drive all the way back to the origin of the move. I think this is still probably a short trade. Again, looking for that reversal 10:30. This is the time that they reverse. And again, at this point, this would be the third consecutive lower high and the second consecutive lower low. So it does signify again with a green, red, green with the wicks on both sides. It does show us that we are in kind of an early trend change right now. And again, particularly with these sellers kind of supporting themselves twice, I would say that, yeah, it probably rolls back down into the 1640. I know I said that yesterday. We got the 1647. It did roll down, right? We were sitting right here, right? Talking about that pullback. Again, I would say bearish today too. I mean, it's another strong day, and again, a lot of concerted effort to make that dollar weaker. So, silver looks very, very similar. Silver also had the same idea. You can see we're talking about where the pullback occurred. It did give us the pullback. It ended up kind of just basing, and again, it drove lower. So I think, again, as far as not necessarily a reversal, because again, 1, 2, 3, yeah, 4, no. Wouldn't have worked. I think we look at this basing level right here, and I'm good with that one. And when it breaks the 50, we look for a push all the way down. All right. I'll just delete these. You guys know what the pattern is when we get a break. So again, gold and silver both have short trades in them. Again, a break of this one probably 1919. Whoops. Yeah, 1919. Again, could it bounce off this 50? Absolutely. Actually, I guess it's. Hold on, I got to reverse it. Hold on. Somebody go, wait a second. That one's drawn backwards. You don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah. Could it hit one more time? Sure. But it did push that area. But there's that parabolic move right here. So we're looking at profit right about there. 1919 down to 1888. All right. So, and again, same thing. 2 lower lows, right? Lower highs. Okay. New zone put in right there. Right. And again, not as clean, but silver tends not to be as clean. All right. Let's see. What is oil doing again? I'm just trying to keep track of oil here. Oh, did oil pop? Oh, no, oil still. It's trying. It's trying, guys. It's trying. It's trying. All right. Let's go up. Let's look at this. Nice push down. right? But split in the season. Again, some of this is earnings too. All the way, actually, Tuesday 15. Yeah, so there's where your fib levels are. Pull that off. All right, so yeah, 9:30 is in a zone. Problem with this one is you triggered at 8:45. 9 went down. So it would have been a long trade depending on where you drew the zone, whether it be the old confirmed one here or if you use this new one. Looking where the 9 o'clock candle is, the 9 o'clock candle's here, and it did give us a red into areas of buyer. So it was kind of more a long base trade today, but depending on if you used the lower one or the upper one, would it kind of dictated of I got into the trade or I didn't get into the trade. I hate when that happens. And again, if you were doing with options and you were just looking to get close, it was in a good area, right? Your 9:30 candle, it was in the right area. It was a long signal, but again, depending on how you drew this one, you may or may not have gotten in. Had you used this level here as, kind of confirm here, I'll do it yellow, so it's different. Using this base where it confirmed here, or maybe you use that base where we confirmed right there, you may or may not have gotten in. So I'm going to count this as a no entry, but depending on how aggressive you wanted to be with where this zone was from the overnight session, you could have gotten into this trade, and you can see it's definitely past a 1 to 3 at this point. It is kind of in an area where we are looking for potential reversals now. So you would have taken your profit one way or the other because this is where your profit should have occurred. So as far as the statistics go, I'm not going to count it as far as opening print, but absolutely there's a case made that, listen, this is the more near term, and here was your confirmation touch of it, right? We pushed in, you're like, oh, it's there. It's right there. Taking a contract with a little bit of risk. Yeah. So it's there. NQ. Yeah, I mean, there's your 9:30 candle sitting right there. Now, this is one of those ones. The only reason I would say that this is also a long opportunity, and again, this is a little riskier. From 9 to 9:15, or 9 to 9:30, you saw it go straight down into that level. Now, is this the freshest of levels? No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this would have been hit number 6. Okay, but the fact that it was starting to kind of rally back up again, and it drove down right into that level for that news, by itself, no entry. Looking at all the other trades out there, you may have entered this one or not. So again, this one, unlike the ES, did touch, and again, it is past a 1 to 3 at this point. It is also at a level right now where you'd say, hey, listen, it is confirmed there was a gap there. This is potentially where these things could trade and go back on us. I would say that's true as well. So again, we would have tagged the profit target, and regardless of where you got in for your risk, you should have been looking to get out right about now anyway. So, this one, it did touch. You can count it if you like. I think until we get back up to 1170, we tagged that one. We mentioned 1170 yesterday as being really where we wanted to get short. It hit it at 12:30, and actually at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we kind of closed up there, and then boom, it collapsed all the way down. So, that was quite a quick gap. Last night is where we kind of tagged that. So we talked about the parabolic retracement. It came through. It's lower than where we were, and now we're rallying back. So I think 1170 again is probably a decent target, and maybe adjusted just a tad. Adjusted is, maybe front run it just a little bit, right? Maybe we put it to 11,695.50 as where you get short next time. YM, let's see what he got here. Yeah, we tagged off. We talked about this level yesterday. 845, 830. This is the same problem. I mean, here's your zone of basing, right? We were there at 8:45. Actually, 9 o'clock we were there. 9:15, it did pull back to grab that zone. But in this one, and really, I wouldn't have been concerned about the top side either, right? You may say, well, wait a second, there's a top on this one, right? There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. You're not concerned anymore, right? So, and YM, I'm going to say, yeah, this was. I'm going to say YM was. You would have had an entry because you're not worried about the top side of this one, and it has pulled back. Let's see, where's the new level? Not done yet. What, Billy? She's mad now that she messed her blanket up and now she can't sit down. It's all messed up. Come here, Millie. All right, let's see. Let's look at that oil number. Let's see how close the API number was. Yeah, it wasn't as bad. Well, API was what, 4.5, and it came in at 2.6. So, may not be too big of a number. Let's see. What did it do? It popped down and came right back up again. Yeah. Oops, not a 1 second. Nope, didn't want 1 second. I wanted 1 minute. So yeah, you're still sitting in that level. So hasn't give you the big crash yet. And again, now it's the news that's pulling it back again. So I'd say oil probably turns and rolls a bit down today. Again, all the data's out now, so we should be able to see it and have it roll. Looks like it made it to about a 1 to 1.5 before that news came out. So we'll see. Yeah. Would have been nice if it was the 4.6. Would have been nice if it was or 4.5. But I mean, again, 2.6 is, industry report versus official. So it's what it is. Russell, let's see what we got on Russell here. Let's see if Russell would have given us the entry. Whoops. No. 9:30. No, it wasn't in his own. And yesterday, remember we talked about this. 1800 was going to be a weird one because it was a big number. I will say I do like how this kind of came up, and now we've tagged 1, 2, 3, 4. And I like this push. So whenever this breaks, I don't know when it will, but again, there's 2 profit targets to the downside. Oops, not that one. Short. Right there. Right there. And 1 to 3 is right there. So again, before the 2 profit targets. I would say there's profit target 1, there's profit target 2. Now again, obviously this was based off the 23. It is higher now, so let's see. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. I want to move this. That's perfect. That's perfect. Look at all the chopping we've done through here. We have the 1800 and the chop. If we're able to break through that 23 when it does roll back down again, I love that one. That was perfect. So yeah, I'm good with that one. A break of 1793, 40, 50. Right. 1793.50. And again, these were old targets, but again, 1 to 3, 1 to 3, 6, 1 to 7. So yeah. Yeah, like that one. I'm a fan of that one. So yeah, fortunately, the answer is no, would not have been an entry. So really 1 official entry, 2 you could have got into entries 4. I mean, they were all long-based trades, even though they're all negative right now. And kind of a so-so morning. Like I said, I don't think anybody predicted this much dollar weakness, and you can see right now. I mean, even on a 15, we typically look at it on 30. You can see that it is definitely finding some bouncing, and it's trying to come up higher. And the question is now, 1030 is the bottom in, right? Is the bottom in? Will we start pulling back up, and will all these trades kind of bounce to where we thought they were going to bounce to? So, there's that Tesla position. 27.76. Talked about it yesterday. So, yeah, we'll see. All right, so that's it for today. Not as exciting. Yeah, I mean, the VIX should be dropping right now. I think it's completely justified with the new home sales up. I really want to hear more about this. Is there more news? Given elevated inflation and inflation expectations, where to go on? The governing council expects the policy interest rate will need to rise further. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I agree with them, but they're not really telling us anything that's surprising yet. If you have the chance, the BRC press conference is at 11 o'clock. They get some questions. I am surprised that they did that, but again, we called for short trade anyway in that one. So, yeah, it's retracing back a little bit now as it should. But yeah, that should be moving a little bit more. 0 in 24 hours. So, whatever. All right, let's go ahead and do the drawing today. So, Sean won yesterday, I believe, right? I think Sean won yesterday. Pretty even. Let's close it down. See who gets today's 25 pip chip drawing. Winner of today's drawing is Jeff. Look at this, Jeff coming in. Go, Jeff. Mark is complete. Look at that, Jeff becoming a regular. Where's Jeff? Jeff, you're on page 1 now, right? Yeah, there you are. There you go. Starting to do that advance a little bit. Oops, not 23. 25. There we go. Coming up there, 21. Look at this. You got a couple people in the way, so you should be able to slice through that group pretty soon. So good job. Like I said, tomorrow morning, Kip is just so unhappy. Like I said, tomorrow morning, we got a lot of stuff coming in right before we talk. And again, kind of the same thinking today right? The expectation is it's going to be a 0.75 in the EU, okay? I doubt 2 of them miss, but for the most part, if 0.7 comes in, that's already what's expected. It's already factored in the market. Remember how the markets work. They try to pre-position. Again, had you done it with CAD today, gotten short before the news release, we didn't know they were going to miss, but we knew we had 2 out of 3 odds of being correct. And again, it's about stacking the odds in your favor, right? One day I'll ban everyone. I know, I just keep saying that, Ernest, but you know. All right. So with that said, I'm out of here. I'll catch you guys tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. You guys take care. I'll catch you then.